planners. Today we are setting up goals in the Powersheets Cultivate What Matters Goal Planner for the month of March. I'm going to take a look at how I did in February and then set up the goals for March. So go grab your planners and let's get planning. All right, so let's start with a look back at February. My encouraging words for February were really about planning the plans that God has for me, and that those plans are good plans. And that comes from Jeremiah 29:11. And the priority for me was really to have faith in the plan, that I had done the groundwork and I knew that I was aligned to where I needed to be. I had prayed over the plans and the goals that I was making quite a bit, and I knew that, they were the right plans for me this year, and I just needed to have faith in them and start taking those small steps, not biting off too much, but just taking those small steps. Overall, I would say I did pretty well this month. There were some areas that were not great, but I did do pretty well. So beginning with goals around financial, I did have a no-spend month in the month of February, which included a no-spend Valentine's Day. So I was very successful with the no-spend Valentine's Day, and it was actually great. My husband and I made cards for each other, and it was really fun to do that. For overall the no-spend, I'm really glad that's over. No-spends are hard. This is the first time I had ever done a no-spend month, and it was really hard. I would say I was probably 90% successful here. But I think what I walk away from this is, when you take the time to evaluate what is a want and what is a need when it comes to what you spend your money on, it's really eye-opening to ask yourself that question and force yourself to think through that. And so I walk away from a no-spend month in February with a better understanding of the difference between wants and needs, and how frequently my family misclassifies needs and wants. So that really is the good lesson here. I definitely think I'll do another no-spend sometime in the future, and I've learned a lot that will help me be successful there. The next goal was around health. And so, my focus areas for this year are really to make sure I have balance in health and have healthy activities in physical, mental, and emotional, and that I'm keeping balance in that area. So I had a goal to create a sort of a buffet, a menu of activities in each of those three areas that I could choose from, and really start to incorporate those into my daily life. And I did do that. I did that actually in my Hobonichi cousin in the daily section. I just picked a day and went ahead and mapped out physical, mental, and emotional health. And I've got a buffet here of different activities to choose from with plenty of options, not weather dependent, not dependent on special equipment, just things that I can pick from in each of these areas. And what I'm going to do, you're going to see me talk more about this as I'm setting up March, because I definitely want to start taking action and using that activity. If you'd like to see more, if you're curious about this planner and how I'm using this planner, I do have a couple of videos up. I'll link those in the description box below. But the daily pages I am really enjoying, and this was a great way to kind of brainstorm and create this list for myself. All right, the next area was to prioritize this channel and the learning that I needed to really take this channel to the next level and to pick one. So I made good progress on this. I wouldn't say that I have a complete list of everything I need to learn, but I do have an area picked out that I want to focus on in the month of March. Nailing down family trip plans. So we had a very large family trip planned where it was myself, my husband, my children, and some extended family members. And of course, with everything going on with the pandemic, that was in question, and just a lot of little details that I had been kind of pushing off to the side that I needed to take care of. I was able to do that, and we got that trip rescheduled, and we're good to go there. My spiritual goal here was to finish for the month was to finish the Jeremiah Bible study. I am almost done. I have a couple more left, and I'm in a good place, and I sort of count that as a success because it was a really in-depth, detailed study. I have thoroughly enjoyed it and gotten so much value out of it. Jeremiah is a very heavy book. And going verse by verse through that book, that's powerful. There's just so much to learn there. For weekly actions, I wanted to Bible journal 2 times a week. I was able to do that successfully. I wanted to creative journal at least 2 times a week. I did that somewhat. I actually picked it up a little bit when it came to getting the Hobonichi memory keeping planner. I'm doing a lot of creative journaling in there, so I would say this is successful and I have a good plan going forward. I don't know that I need to keep either one of these on the weekly list going forward because they're somewhat ingrained into my schedule now. For Planning Annie, I wanted to batch film at least 3 times through the month, and I also wanted to batch social media posts. So guys, I am not successful in the social media post. It just feels like so much work, and I'm really struggling there. I'm not doing a great job. If you doubt that, go check out my Instagram account, which is kind of a hot mess and very spotty. So I've got a lot of work to do here, and it feels overwhelming, like another thing to do, and I just can't seem to get into a rhythm there. I would so welcome feedback or ideas or things that you've done that have worked for you. If you keep multiple social media accounts up and running, I would love to know, how are you successfully doing that? So yeah, I've got more work to do there, and I'm not sure how I'm going to tackle this going forward. For Write the Word and Walk the Dog, I was successful from a daily standpoint, write the word every day. Very good about that, and I don't know that I need to carry this over anymore because it is such an ingrained habit. For walking the dog, I was successful when I could be. A lot of crazy weather in the month of February. So I walked when I could, but a lot of times we were experiencing really bad weather in my area. So overall, I'm happy with the month of February. I think I made really good progress on my goals and learned a lot from the month. So I am ready to turn the page to the month of March. All right, so to start out with the month of March, I have just kept this page open and on my desk for the last couple weeks so that I could come in here and jot down ideas as they came to me for monthly, weekly, and daily. And so I'm going to be pulling from these. It's great to just have this out on the desk and, as things come to me, oh yeah, that's an idea. I come in here and I write it down. Doesn't mean that I'm committing to all of these things. I give myself freedom to write something down that I don't actually end up putting on the tending list. But it is good to have these captured. So now I'm ready to get into completing the actual tending list. And I'm going to start with the encouraging words for this month. So when I think about March, this is the 31 days and thinking about when Easter is, this is the 31 days prior to Easter. Easter is in early April this year. And so, I want to use this as an opportunity to prepare for the Easter holiday. And when I looked at the encouraging words and kind of what I've been praying about and studying, I am going to be using Revelation 3:20, and I'll go ahead and write that down and then talk about it. All right, so I've got my encouraging words for the month. Here I am, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with them and they with me. Revelation 3:20. So there are some, there are some opportunities that have come up, or some whisperings or some ideas that have come to me recently. And, I'm really focused on, for this month, after some prayer and some study, I'm focused on making sure that I hear that knock at the door. When things come into my life, recognizing, are they aligned? Are they going to help me, capitalizing on my word of the year? Are they going to help me flow in the right direction? Can I take them in? Are these the right opportunities? And so my priority this month is to hear the knocks. And also make sure that the things that I am doing are aligned to where I'm heading, and that as those new things or new opportunities or new ideas come in, that I am aligning them and evaluating them against my goals and my priorities, and really making sure that I'm listening out for when God is knocking, and I'm answering those. I'm opening the door. I'm answering those calls. So that is my encouraging words and my priority for the month. Now I'm ready to look at my monthly actions. So I pulled this out. I keep this handy. This is just a regular piece of cardboard. I put some stickers, and I actually cut this out of one of the front pages of this planner. And this is my goals for the year. And so I like to keep this near me when I am going through the monthly items, the weekly items, the daily items, because, I want to make sure, again, as I talked about, that I'm hearing the knocks. I'm making sure everything is aligned to the overall goals that I've set. I have faith in these goals. I believe that the prayer and the work and the prep work in the power sheets has gotten me to the place where these are the right goals for me this year. And so just making sure that I stay aligned. So I'm going to keep this here right next to me, so that as I'm working through this, I can also evaluate how those goals link up to the overall items for this year. So for monthly ideas, I want to start with some family fun things. So, we're coming out of winter. We're coming out of a season where we've been really stuck in the house and kind of in a routine. Spring, the weather starts to get better, and we start to get that urge to get out of the house. I know there are still a lot of precautions we need to take, but I do think it is there are going to be opportunities for us to do some fun things. And I'm going to try to incorporate some into our normal everyday routine, and also add some additional activities. So I've got 2 items that I want to include here. And the first is to just have one family fun outside of the house activity this month. And that sounds really small, but it also is big, because again, we've been sort of locked down for some time now, and those restrictions are starting to ease. So just easing ourselves back into the world as a family, just going to do one fun thing, pick a weekend, pick an activity, and go do one fun thing. So that's going to be the first item on my monthly actions. Okay, the next one is actually going to be in the weekly action item section around family fun, and that is, I want to start to have one themed dinner night every week. So I saw this, I can't even remember where I read it, but I read that it was really fun. The family was having a great time with taco night, and taking turns picking the theme and making the dinner. And so I just thought it was really fun. I think my family will be into it. So I'm actually going to put that on my weekly action items. All right. And then the other family focused item about being present and really supporting my family is going to go in the monthly action items, and that is to go ahead and schedule the first college visit for my oldest daughter that will occur this summer. Colleges have been sort of not in the place to be scheduling and planning for trips. We are starting to notice that they are opening back up. So now we can start to schedule visits, and we're going to go ahead and schedule at least one this month for this coming summer. All right, since all 3 of these are family fun, tied to my goal for celebrating my family, being present in the moment, preparing for what's ahead, I'm going to go ahead and mark these orange, because that is the color associated with that goal. Okay, for planning Annie and really growing that robust community, making that sort of a side hustle, I had a goal last month to really focus on what I want to learn. And one of the areas that I'm focusing on for learning is it's supporting 2 of my goals, both from a career standpoint and those long-term financial goals, as well as growing Planning Annie. I am taking a project management course, and it is sort of like the beginner to expert project management course, and it really covers everything. There are many hours of of classes. And so I want to finish that. I've started it. I'm about a third of the way through. I want to finish that in the month of March. And I'm really sort of enjoying the concepts and the structure and the processes. And I think I'm going to be able to apply that in a lot of areas, both professionally and personally. So I'm going to go ahead and capture that as a goal for the month of March to finish the project management course. All right, along the lines of Planning Annie, I have also just finished reading the Getting Things Done book by David Allen. I don't know why it took me this long to read that book. I mean, that book has been out for like 20 years, and I am a planner fanatic. And so to not have read that book seems really crazy, especially when I was reading it. I would just love it. And I've been aware of the system, and I've kind of read a little bit from other people about the system, but actually reading the book, amazing. And I am going to be incorporating the Getting Things Done methodologies into both my personal and work planning systems. And so that's going to be an additional goal for the month of March. All right, additional for Planning Annie, I want to continue to batch record. That is really working for me to batch content, and it frees up some weekends so that I can do, fun family things. And so I am going to continue to make that a goal because I do still have to focus on that to get it planned and scheduled. So I'm going to add that to the weekly actions. And then another thing I am going to be doing for Planning Annie, and I'll actually put this in the monthly actions, I am going to kick off the first series on Planning Annie of videos. And the videos are going to be all about starting a bullet journal for the first time. So really focusing on beginners. The reason I started this channel in the first place is because I had such a heart for those who are just starting out with bullet journaling. And so I want to get back to that and make my first series really focused on those beginners. So that's going to be one of my monthly actions for Planning Annie. All right, and so those are all the goals that I have associated with Planning Annie. And some of them are actually sort of long-term financial security career goals as well. So I could really mark these as either one, but I think I guess I'll divide them up based on what makes the most sense. I think the project management is really going to have the most applicability to my career, so I'll put that there. And then the rest of these really are more applicable to Planning Annie, so I'll mark those as Planning Annie goals. Oh, one more I forgot about for Planning Annie. I do have, in my list that I made last month of areas that I need to grow and learn, I still am struggling with a content strategy, and I feel like that's an area for me to grow. I found some great resources on the Creator Academy, and so I am going to have a goal of completing one course a week on content strategy from that source. And that is definitely a Planning Annie goal. All right, and so that leaves a couple of daily actions that I want to commit to. The first is I'm going to be doing a 31-day prayer and scripture study for Easter, so just leading up to Easter. So that is going to be daily. And then I am going to be doing one healthy habit from my healthy habit menu every day. So that is my health and my spiritual goals. And that covers all the goals that I have. So I've got something going on in every area for every goal. I'm excited about kind of what I'm going to be focusing on. A lot of these, just looking at the list, they energize me. So the family fun night, the college visit, the finishing the project management course and really implementing, getting things done, the first series on Planning Annie, having a family themed dinner night every week. These are they excite me, so that's awesome. So let me go do a little bit of decoration, and I'll be back to show you the final product. All right, so I added a bunch of green. It is March, and we're We're seeing a lot more green outside, and we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day as well. So I've added in some green and some other stickers just to make it pretty to look at as it sits on my desk, open like this and ready for me to start marking progress. I would love to hear, what are your goals for the month of March? How did you do in February? Are you feeling like you're still aligned to your annual goals? Do they still make sense to you? Are you doing things throughout the month and the weeks and the days that are moving you forward in your goals that you set at the end of last year or the beginning of this year? I'd love to hear all of that in the comments below. If you have any questions about the power sheets or how I'm using them or how I set up these goals, please leave that in the comments below too, and I'll be happy to respond. If you enjoyed the video and got value out of it, give it a thumbs up and let me know. Subscribe to Planning Annie for more content like this, and as always, thanks for planning with me.